All right. Hey there, and welcome to today's episode where we are going to talk about why you shouldn't work at OCD and anxiety from a theme perspective and why you should broaden out your recovery perspective and how you're working at everything. Because if you work from a theme perspective, you're going to paradoxically kind of cap your ability to succeed, and ultimately it may just shift themes. And so, for those of you that don't know me, real quick, my name is Matt Codde, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker and the founder of Restored Minds. And if you're looking for help and support on your journey, please head over to restoredminds.com, where you can check out some of the links in the notes, as I have some great resources for you. Along, if you benefit from the show, I would really appreciate your support by liking, subscribing, and leaving a nice review. So let's go ahead and dive in today. Now, a lot of people, when they reach out to me or apply for TBC, one of the main focuses is the type of theme that they're currently stuck on when it comes to OCD and anxiety. So this could be anything from harmful intrusive thoughts, sexual intrusive thoughts, contamination, religious, hit and run, driving, flying. I mean, you really name it. It's really any kind of theme. And that's when I'm talking about the theme. I'm talking about really the content of the fear. And what a lot of people do, and what they think ERP is about, and I think this is really a limited perspective of how one applies ERP, or exposure and response prevention, is they focus on the theme itself and they make the whole intervention process about ERP to a specific theme, as opposed to broadening the idea to ERP really being about confronting fear. And when you work at ERP from a theme perspective, what people tend to do is set up exposures in a way to desensitize you to a theme, to a certain stimulus. So if it's doorknobs, you work on doorknobs. If it's, harmful thoughts, you write out harmful thoughts, or maybe you watch violent movies, and, so on and so forth. And this can really be essentially put onto any theme. Now, there's obviously a certain benefit to doing this because it will trigger up the fear and raise up the fear in the individual. The problem is if we just focus on the theme and we just talk about the theme, and we're not working from it a loop perspective and really broadening the context in which what we're really doing. The problem is once a person overcomes a certain theme or is desensitized to a theme enough where they're not so reactive to certain stimulus, what ends up usually happening is the theme switches, and now they have a different type of fear, a different type of OCD. And that leads people to falsely assume that, OCD is this chronic thing that's just always going to bounce from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. Where really, when you're really working at this, you want to work at it from a fear perspective and realize that the theme that you're locked on is not the cause of your fear. Because if that was the cause of your fear, that would cause everyone fear, right? Doorknobs don't cause people fear, or else everyone that touched a doorknob would feel fear. This is limited to your perspective, meaning you're carrying in certain beliefs, and your fear is being projected onto this theme. Not the theme is causing your fear, right? And once we understand that, then we begin to work at this from a fear-based issue and really confronting fear itself in your body, and not working at it from this external perspective. And that's the issue with working from a theme perspective, is that the moment you do finally let go of something externally, of an idea, of a certain trigger, a certain stimulus, because you never confronted the fear itself, the fear often just projects onto a new topic or theme. And when you're working at ERP and you're focusing solely on theme, and you're not looking at the grand context of the OCD and anxiety loop, the problem is it really does a disservice to yourself if you're looking to recover, or if you're a provider or a treatment provider. If you're just focusing on a theme and you're not going broad in your context of what you're working, ultimately it's going to serve the person in a very limited capacity, because most likely what's going to happen is the person's going to shift themes and then have to come back. Right. And I've seen this happen where people do intensives on just a theme, and then all of a sudden have to do a new intensive on another theme. And it's in my opinion, it's just a limited way of how the person that's running the intervention is implementing it. And so if you're looking for your own recovery, it's very important that, yes, we will integrate some aspect of theme-based exposure, but that's a limited part of the scope because we want to really look at the whole loop from that perspective, and we want to work from that perspective, because if you aren't, it oftentimes will just bounce around. And in order to prevent that, we want to learn to actually confront fear and feel through fear in the body and release fear in the body from an emotional standpoint, because then you no longer have to project it onto the environment. And that's, in my opinion, been the most powerful way to work at something like this, and really is going to produce the best results for you. So hopefully that makes sense. And again, this is kind of a quick message today, because it's just more talking about a very nuanced detail of not working from a theme perspective and really trying to broaden out the way in which you're looking at how you're working at OCD and anxiety in your own life. So with that, hope this was helpful, and I wish you guys a great day and a great week, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Hey there. So if you enjoyed that video, we've linked up a few more videos that we think you'd find helpful as well. And if you have found this helpful, we'd really appreciate your support by liking and subscribing. And if you're looking for help and guidance, please check out restoredminds.com, as we have several options for you to get started. See you guys soon.